Hey folks, Doomed Wizard here. So I'm a little bummed. I was in the middle of making my next video when I learned of the passing of Michael Reeves earlier this week. So I kind of wanted to do a episode about him and his contribution to the hobby. But who's Michael Reeves, you might ask? Well, if you're my age or maybe a little older, you should know who he is. Along with being a successful novelist, Reeves was a script writer for such animated masterpieces as Gargoyles and Batman the Animated Series. His books, The Shattered World and The Burning Realm, were hugely influential on realms that I created for Dungeons & Dragons back in the day. But I want to talk about his contribution to a little cartoon from the 80s you may have heard of.
Hey, look! A Dungeons and Dragons ride! Wow, neat!
Give me a break.
I don't like this!
Whoa! What's happening?
If you don't know, Dungeons & Dragons was an American animated television series based on, well, Dungeons & Dragons. Sort of. The product of Marvel Productions, TSR, and Toy Animation, Dungeons & Dragons ran on CBS from 1983 through 1985 for 3 seasons with a total of 27 episodes. Hank the Ranger, Eric the Cowardly Cavalier, fellow bespectacled magic user Presto, Diana the Acrobat, Sheila the Thief, and her kid brother Bobby the Barbarian are transported to the realm of Dungeons & Dragons. The show follows the kids' adventures as they try to find a way home with the help of their guide, the Dungeon Master. But they often took detours to help people or find out that their fates were entwined with others throughout the realm. The group came across many different enemies, but their primary antagonist was Peter Cullen. I mean Venger, a wizard as powerful as he was evil. Oh, and we can't forget their little dog Toto too. I mean Uni the Unicorn, voiced by the great Frank Welker. Venger was bent on ruling the realm and believed that the power of the children's weapons could help him do it. But the connection between Venger and Dungeon Master are alluded to throughout the series, but wasn't resolved until the show was abruptly canceled. But more on that in a bit. The show came out about a year after I started playing Dungeons & Dragons, and I remember catching no end of crap from my fellow gamers for liking it. That's not Dungeons & Dragons, they'd scoff. Funny thing though, there certainly were a lot of haters carrying magic bows back then. Anyway, of the 27 episodes, Reeves wrote 7, making him the second most important contributor to the scripts, many of which are among my favorites. That's not to take anything away from the other episodes, of course. Winds of Darkness, where a creature known as the Darkling torments a frightened village during the full moon that happens every 33 years, is probably my favorite non-Reeves episode. In fact, I freely adapted the plot for Winds of Darkness for a Deadlands adventure a while back. But I digress. Reeves' stories included The Treasure of Tardos, where Dungeon Master warns the kids that they are in danger of the monstrous Demogorgon. Demidragon, a half-demon, half-dragon monster capable of destroying the entire realm. To defeat the Demidragon, the kids must find a bit of Dragonbane in order to render the monster helpless. In City on the Edge of Midnight, which Reeves co-wrote, the kids must seek out the titular city and save its children from the Nightwalker, who steals little children at the stroke of midnight. In Day of the Dungeon Master decides to take a vacation a la Merlin from the Sword and the Stone and gives Eric his garb of power. The usual Eric wackiness ensues until Venger comes after the garb. In the Dragon's Graveyard, the kids are at the end of their patience with Venger, ruining their attempts to return home, and resolve to bring the fight to him. The kids seek the help of Tiamat, the most dangerous dragon in the realm, who assists them in a confrontation with Venger and helps them get one step closer to home. In The Dungeon at the Heart of Dawn, while in the Tower of Darkness, Eric opens the Box of Balefire and lets loose the ultimate evil known only as the Nameless One. As luck would have it, the Nameless One is also Venger's master, subsequently stripping him and Dungeon Master of their powers. The kids venture to the Heart of Dawn to restore Dungeon Master's powers while holding a truce with Venger and his lackey, the Shadow Demon. In the time lost, Venger has been abducting military personnel from different battles throughout Earth's history, leading him to capture a U.S. Air Force pilot whose jet Venger commandeers. Venger gives a Luftwaffe pilot the modern fighter jet to return to 1945 and turn the tide of the war, so that the kids' parents no longer meet, and thus cease to be a problem for him. That one was a bit of a stretch for me. But my favorite episode has to be Child of the Stargazer. Like most of Reeves' stories, the title sounds like the name of a Hawkwind album. In it, the son of an astrologer escapes from the evil demon queen Cyrith and involves the kids in a battle against good and evil. Diana must make a personal choice regarding going home or saving the realm. Of all the characters, I think Reed had an affinity for Diana, as she seemed to play important roles in just about all of his episodes. The thing I enjoyed the most about Reeves' episodes is how they could have easily been movie plots, or at the very least, two-part episodes. He crammed a lot of plot, action, and emotion into each episode. But you can't talk about Reeves' contribution to the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon without talking about Requiem. A final unproduced episode, Requiem would have served as both a conclusion to the story and a reimagining of the show had it been picked up for a fourth season. However, sadly, Dungeons & Dragons was canceled before the episode was ever made. The script has since been published online and was performed as an audio drama as a special feature in the BCI Eclipse DVD edition of the series. In it, we finally learn the connection between Venger and Dungeon Master. Given the time the show aired, it shouldn't come as much of a shock, as it was the style of the time. You can currently also find an animated version of it on YouTube. It's a patchwork of existing footage from the cartoon and some newer animation. But those are just some of my thoughts. What are yours? Did you like Dungeons & Dragons? Or any of Reeves' other works? Did you have a magic bow like Hank's? Or maybe an invisible cloak like Sheila's? If so, why not let us know in the comments? And while you're down there, don't forget to do all the YouTube things. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you don't miss a single video. Thanks for watching.